Welcome to ComfortTV.channel news, bringing you verified and balanced news from Nigeria and around the world. My name is Faith Gavin. Thank you for joining us again this morning. In the headlines, federal government targets 7-day cargo clearance by 2026. Marine Ministry and IPSS unveil National Fish Production Acceleration Plan. EFCC warns car dealers against aiding money laundering terrorist financing. Katsina targets 140 billion naira internally generated revenue by 2026. Lawmaker drags Nigerian army to court. Abia APC dismisses claims of court order against Honorable Onyejocha. On business news, Owando records 164% rise in profit, 210 billion naira in 9 months. Fiscal policy chairman says fuel tax won't begin until naira appreciates. On the foreign scene, Hamas hands over bodies of 2 Israeli hostages. U.S. Energy Secretary cancels Tel Aviv visit after Israel blocks $35 billion energy deal with Egypt. And on sports, Super Eagles defender on Galatasaray's January transfer wish list. Also, NSC chairman cautions journalists against sensational reporting. Now the news. The federal government has intensified its drive to implement a national single-window system at Nigeria's ports by 2026, in a move expected to drastically cut cargo clearance time and enhance transparency in maritime trade processes. Vice President Alhaji Kashim Shettima, speaking at the second meeting of the Ports and Customs Efficiency Committee at the State House Abuja, said a digital platform set for rollout in the first quarter of 2026 will harmonize documentation, reduce human contact, and improve efficiency across the port's ecosystem. He expressed concern over the current clearance delays, noting that cargo dwell time in Nigeria averages 18 to 21 days, compared to 5 to 7 days in Ghana and as little as 4 days in Cotonou, Benin Republic. According to a statement issued by Senior Special Assistant on Media and Communications Office of the Vice President, Mr. Stanley Nkwocha, Alhaji Shettima added that clearance costs in Nigeria are estimated to be 30% higher than in peer economies. The Vice President also announced that a draft executive order mandating joint physical inspection of cargoes aimed at eliminating multiple examinations and bureaucratic overlap is with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and will soon be approved. He directed the Nigerian Ports Authority (NPA), Nigerian Customs Service (NCS), Standards Organization of Nigeria (SON), Immigration Service, NAFDAC, and other key agencies to produce a roadmap for strengthening the national weights and measures system to ensure consumer protection and fair trade practices. Director General of the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBEC, Princess Zara Audu, lamented the cost of delays to the economy and stressed the need for unified action to improve the business climate. NPA Managing Director Dr. Abubakar Dansoho highlighted ongoing efforts, including joint inspections and infrastructure upgrades, but said deeper collaboration, technology adoption, equipment improvement, and capacity building remain critical. The Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy is partnering with the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies and IPSS to accelerate national fish production and close Nigeria's estimated 2.2 million metric ton supply gap through a coordinated policy that would produce a National Fish Production Acceleration Roadmap (NEFPAR). Speaking at the opening of a 2-day roundtable discussion on accelerating national fish production in Lagos, Minister of Marine and Blue Economy Adeboye Oyetola said the collaboration with NIPSS marked a critical step in implementing President Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda, which prioritizes food security, job creation, and economic diversification. He said the roundtable aims to produce a national fish production acceleration roadmap that would guide strategic investment and reforms in the fisheries and aquaculture subsector. He noted that new policies and legal frameworks, including the Fisheries Bill and the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Policy, have been developed to strengthen sustainability and governance. The minister also highlighted digital reforms within the ministry, including the automation of fisheries operations and the establishment of a Blue Data Bank in partnership with the World Bank Pro Blue program. He said initiatives such as the Green Money Project are already empowering youth and women to engage in aquaculture through input support and training. In his address, Director General of NIPSS Professor Ayo Omotayo reaffirmed the institution's commitment to supporting evidence-based policy making that can help Nigeria achieve fish self-sufficiency. He said NIPSS would continue to work with the ministry to translate the outcomes of the roundtable into actionable strategies. The two-day forum, which has experts, operators, and other stakeholders in attendance, is expected to generate recommendations that will inform national policy and investment decisions aimed at boosting fish production, reducing imports, and promoting sustainable growth within the Nigerian blue economy. Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Mr. Ola Olukoyede, has warned car dealers to be wary of those who launder proceeds of crime through purchases and vehicle dealership. Spokesperson for EFCC, Mr. Dele Oyewale, explained that Mr. Olukoyede gave the charge at a one-day capacity building and sensitization workshop organized by the EFCC for members of the Association of Motor Dealers of Nigeria, AMDAN. The EFCC boss was represented by the Coordinator of Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering XCU-ML. Ibadan Zonal Directorate of EFCC ACE-11 Mrs. Toyin Ehindero Benson, speaking on the theme The Importance of Know Your Customer and Customer Due Diligence, noted that the engagement was a critical step against money laundering and countering terrorist financing. He also reiterated the need for business owners and professionals to desist from being used to launder illicit funds and terrorist financing. Mr. Olukoyede noted that such illicit activities enhances insecurity and hamper economic progress of the country. He said that the event was part of the EFCC's efforts to strengthen collaboration with stakeholders and promote compliance with anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financing regulations. He urged the participants to always verify the identity of their customers to ensure they are legitimate. The Katsina state government has announced plans to boost its internally generated revenue (IGR) to 140 billion naira annually by 2026 as part of efforts to strengthen the state's fiscal independence and finance community development projects. Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning Mr. Malik Anas disclosed this in Abuja during the launch of the 2025 State of States report by budget. He said the state has grown its IGR from 10 billion naira in 2021 to 24 billion naira in 2024, but noted that this performance still fell short of its economic potential. Mr. Anas explained that the government was adopting a community-driven tax system designed to link revenue collection directly to development outcomes at the grassroots level. According to him, residents are now beginning to see visible benefits of taxation as proceeds are increasingly used to fund local infrastructure and social projects. To improve transparency and efficiency, the Commissioner said the state has introduced an electronic invoice system that enables real-time tax assessment and payment, thereby reducing leakages and curbing corruption within the revenue chain. He also revealed that the government is developing a comprehensive enterprise data warehouse to capture all small and medium-scale businesses operating in the state. The system, he said, will strengthen revenue projections, improve compliance, and expand the tax base. The Commissioner reaffirmed the government's commitment to leveraging technology and community participation to enhance fiscal sustainability and deliver tangible benefits to citizens. A member of the Osun State House of Assembly, Honorable Kami Ajibola, has taken legal action against the Nigerian Armed Forces over the recent alleged coup plot aimed at toppling President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration and disrupting the country's democratic order. Honorable Ajibola, who represents Oriade State constituency, filed the suit at the Federal High Court in Osogbo, naming the Nigerian Army, Nigerian Air Force, Nigerian Navy, and the Attorney General of the Federation as defendants. A legal practitioner and former chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA) Ilesha branch, Honorable Ajibola, is asking the court to declare that no section of the Nigerian Constitution or any law enacted by the National Assembly empowers the military to overthrow a democratically elected government. In a 23-paragraph affidavit attached to the originating summons, the lawmaker argued that the 1999 Constitution, particularly Section 217, subsection 2, clearly defines the constitutional functions of the armed forces. He maintained that nowhere in the law is the military authorized to act outside those provisions or to assume political power. He urged the court to issue a perpetual injunction restraining the armed forces, whether by their personnel, officers, or proxies, from ever attempting to seize power or interfere with civilian rule by way of a coup d'etat or any unconstitutional means. The lawmaker described the recent reports on an attempted coup as a dangerous signal and a slap in the face of all patriots and Democrats who fought for the restoration of civilian governance in Nigeria. The Abia chapter of the All Progressives Congress APC has dismissed reports that the Federal High Court issued an order compelling the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to investigate or prosecute the Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Honorable Nkiruka Onyejocha. The party's legal advisor, Mr. Vigilus Nwankwo, described the claims as politically motivated, aimed at discrediting the minister ahead of the 2027 general elections. Mr. Nwankwo clarified that the court merely granted Honorable Amobi Oga an order of leave, a procedural approval to apply for an order of mandamus and not a substantive order directing INEC to act. The APC legal advisor stated that the suit was part of a wider political scheme to weaken Honorable Onyejocha's growing influence within Abia politics, describing it as a preemptive move ahead of future elections. Mr. Nwankwo further maintained that the basis of the suit had already been settled during the 2023 election litigation process. He explained that both the tribunal and the Court of Appeal made no findings against Honorable Onyejocha when Honorable Oga challenged her victory. According to him, the present case amounts to issue estoppel as it seeks to reopen a matter already determined by a competent court. He added that the Court of Appeal's decision to void the election was based on technical grounds, specifically the non-presentation of polling agents as witnesses, rather than any allegation of forgery. ComfortTV.channel news will return shortly with business, foreign, and sports news. Many thanks for staying tuned. This is ComfortTV.channel news. Onto the world of business. Owando PLC has said it recorded a 164% increase in profit after tax (PAT) to 210 billion naira from 76 billion naira in the same period of 2024, a performance driven by stronger production volumes and operational efficiency. Group revenue declined by 20% year-on-year to 2.5 trillion naira from 3.2 trillion naira in 2024, primarily due to reduced gasoline imports. Following the ramp-up of the Dangote refinery, a development that has reshaped Nigeria's refined product market for good. Gross profit stood at 113 billion naira, representing a 42% decline and reflecting shifts in market dynamics and the group's evolving segment mix. Commenting on the results, Group Chief Executive Owando PLC, Mr. Wale Tinubu, stated that the group achieved a 59% year-on-year increase in crude oil and gas production, now averaging 38,121 barrels per day, underscoring the impact of the NAOC acquisition and clear evidence of the beginning of the dawn of unlocking the tremendous value its reserves possesses. During the period, the company reported a surge in oil and gas output and continued operational gains, signaling strong momentum across its upstream operations for the 9 months ended September 30, 2025. To sustain its growth size, Owando upsized its reserve-based leading facility to $375 million, strengthening its financial flexibility and supporting the accelerated development of its 1 billion barrels of oil equivalent upstream portfolio. Still on business, Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, has said the proposed 5% fuel surcharge tax will not be implemented until there is a significant improvement in key economic indicators, particularly an appreciation of the naira or a fall in global crude oil prices. Speaking at the Haulage and Logistics Magazine Conference and Exhibition in Lagos, he noted that while the surcharge is a sound policy designed to fund road maintenance, introducing it now would worsen the financial strain on Nigerians. According to him, the surcharge, which was first introduced under the ex-President Olusegun Obasanjo administration, was intended to dedicate part of fuel revenues to road repairs. 40% for federal roads and 60% for state and local government roads. He clarified that although the Federal Road Maintenance Agency (FEMA) has requested to start collecting the levy after fuel subsidy removal, the committee rejected the move. He added that the committee included the surcharge in the draft tax law, but with safeguards requiring the Ministry of Finance to issue an official order before it takes effect. Onto the foreign scene, Palestinian militant group Hamas handed over 2 bodies of deceased Israeli hostages after the tense Gaza ceasefire was shaken by a series of deadly Israeli strikes in the enclave. The body of hostages Amiram Cooper and Sahar Baruch were returned to Israel for burial after identification process was completed. Under the ceasefire accord, Hamas released all living hostages in return for nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners and wartime detainees, while Israel pulled back its troops, halted its offensive, and increased aid into the enclave. Hamas also agreed to hand over the remains of all 28 dead hostages in exchange for 360 Palestinians militants killed in the war. Israel says Hamas has been too slow to hand over the remaining bodies of hostages still in Gaza. Hamas says it would take time to locate and retrieve all of the remains. Families of some of the hostages are desperate to provide a proper burial for their loved ones and fear their remains will be lost forever beneath the ruins of Gaza. Thousands of Palestinians believed to be dead are still missing amidst the vast destruction. The Gaza Health Ministry said 46 children and 20 women were among the 104 people killed in the airstrikes. Israel said its airstrikes targeted dozens of militants. Witnesses said Israeli aircraft carried out 10 airstrikes in areas east of Khan Yunis in the southern Gaza Strip, while tanks shelled areas east of Gaza City in the north before dawn on Thursday. No casualties were reported. Still on foreign, U.S. Energy Secretary Chris Wright has cancelled his planned 6-day visit to Israel next week. The move comes after Israel's Energy Minister Eli Cohen refuses to approve a landmark $35 billion natural gas export agreement with Egypt, defying pressures from Washington and operator Chevron until what he described as fair prices are set for domestic consumers. The deal, signed in August by partners in Israel's Leviathan gas field, will be the country's largest export contract, but Cohen's office said he will not sign off until local pricing terms are settled. Minister Cohen's public stance is seen as a rare open challenge to the Trump administration, which is pushing for closer energy cooperation between Israel and Egypt as part of broader regional initiatives. Efforts have been underway to sort out political disputes between Israel and Egypt, including over Gaza, after the U.S.-sponsored ceasefire deal which was signed in Egypt's Sharm el-Sheikh on October 13. Minister Cohen's office said negotiations with Chevron are ongoing and that Israel's domestic market must remain attractive. Israel's finance ministry has warned that rising consumption could lead to a gas shortfall within 25 years. Egypt currently imports Israeli gas via an undersea pipeline and re-exports part of it as liquefied natural gas. Under sports, Super Eagles defender Calvin Bassey has emerged as a potential transfer target for Galatasaray during the summer transfer window. Over the last 2 years, Bassey has established himself as one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League, redefining himself after his failed stint at Ajax. Last season, he was even named the Player of the Year at Craven Cottage following a very solid campaign. However, last summer, things were silent around the 25-year-old defender, as no club expressed serious interest in acquiring his services. But now Bassey has emerged as a target for Galatasaray in the January transfer window. Galatasaray has been flexing their muscles in the transfer market in the past year so they can comfortably afford Bassey, who would likely to be priced around £40 million. But in the meantime, convincing Bassey to dump English football and switch to Turkish football will be an uphill task. Still on sport, the chairman of the National Sports Commission, NSC, Mr. Shehu Diko, has warned sports journalists against sensational and unverified reports, saying media credibility directly affects national unity and sports development. Speaking at the Sports Writers Association of Nigeria SWAN 60th anniversary in Abuja, Diko urged journalists to prioritize accuracy over speed in the competitive information age. Mr. Diko condemned false claims alleging that FIFA and CAF funds were released to the NFF, describing them as misleading narratives that could breed public mistrust and division. He challenged media professionals to rebuild confidence through fact-based reporting that promotes unity rather than fueling misinformation or damaging the nation's sporting image. Mr. Diko urged reporters to focus on agenda-setting stories that inspire patriotism and support national teams, especially as the Super Eagles chase FIFA World Cup qualification. And that's our news bulletin for the morning. Before we go, a recap of our top stories. Federal government targets 7-day cargo clearance by 2026. Marine Ministry and IPSS unveil National Fish Production Acceleration Plan. EFCC warns car dealers against aiding money laundering terrorist financing. Katsina targets 140 billion naira internally generated revenue by 2026. Lawmaker drags Nigerian army to court. Abia APC dismisses claims of court order against Honorable Onyejocha. On business news, Oando records a 164% rise in profit to 210 billion naira in 9 months. On the foreign scene, Hamas hands over bodies of 2 Israeli hostages. And on sports, Super Eagles defender on Galatasaray's January transfer wish list. Thank you for watching. For breaking news, exclusive interviews and more, follow us online at ComfortTV.channel on all platforms. Remember to like and share our videos, subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell so you don't miss out on future updates. My name is Faith Kevin. Until next time, stay informed, stay connected.